Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our coffee break demo today. And today we're looking at streamlining SMB payroll with our presenter, Francesca Owen. Please ask any questions throughout using the Q&A panel and join us at the end for our live Q&A session. Thank you, and I'll now pass you over to Francesca.
Thanks, Sandra. Hi, my name's Francesca. I'm part of the payroll team here at the Access Group. And I'll be going through today a little bit about our SaaS payroll solution, PayCircle. This is software in-house. We do also do payroll that is a managed service, and we also supply software to bureaus as well. There are separate webinars on those. Today we'll be concentrating on the SaaS function, the software in-house for the small to medium-sized business space. But before we get started on that, I would just like to go quickly through a little bit more of what we do here at Access. So specifically, payroll is part of the people division. And within the people division, we've got four kind of arms of that. So we've got HR, we've got payroll, engage is all your employee benefits and rewards, and learning is your LMS, compliance, things like that. One of the really unique things about the way that we set our products out at Access is that it's all going to integrate. So through our HR systems, payroll is going to take information from HR. So it creates HR as a single source of truth. It's going to move that information when you set up a new employee in your HR system. Payroll is going to know about it. If that new employee is eligible for salary sacrifice schemes, things like that, it's also going to pull those employee records into the engagement suite as well. And if you've got the learning suite, you can take that new employee and you can set them up to have specific onboarding courses that they need to do, learning that they need to do with deadlines, automatically tell them that they've got items that need to be completed, and notify you when all of that kind of stuff is done as well. Let's jump straight into our PayCircle demonstration. And this video is going to be about 17, 18 minutes long, and then we'll jump into Q&A at the end.
Hi, my name's Francesca, and I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about PayCircle today. So this is the Access Group's payroll software. Just a little bit of a background. When we acquired PayCircle, it was designed for bureau use. So this is companies that are running other companies' payroll as a managed service. And we've taken that software and all the functionality that it offers and made it really simple and easy to use for any size of business. So today we're concentrating on the in-house version of PayCircle. So this is you completing the payroll for yourself within your business. And we're looking at it on a scale of small to medium-sized businesses. But PayCircle can fully scale, whether you're a company with 1 to 2 employees or you're a bureau running thousands of employees over multiple companies' pay runs. The first thing that you see when you log in is the dashboard. So the 2 widgets at the top, one is for all of your dates, so your processing dates, your paydays, and the other is for your team members, which details your new starters, leavers, and so you can see any changes at a real glance. Coming down then, you get the activity log. So this is everything that's happened within PayCircle, whether that's a change made by yourself, whether that's an automatic change coming through an integration with People HR software, for example, or that is a change made by another admin that's been set up for your company. It's going to tell you what's happened, who did it, and when they did it. And it's going to be split down by payroll, by team, and by each different pension as well. So you can see all of the changes made at a glance historically, and at the bottom, if you need a little bit more information, you can see view all activity, and you can go through to see a full activity report. Really nice features of the dashboard is we've got a go to payroll button, so you can go straight to your payroll in a single click. If you've got come in, no changes to make anymore, you've completed everything for the month, go to payroll and get your employees paid. We've also got at the bottom a chat function now. So this is run by AI, so you can ask it any question about how to do something in payroll, and it will pull through multiple articles, multiple videos, and show you how to do that function. If it cannot find that information, it goes through to a real person, and you can mark your query as high, low, or medium priority, and you'll get a real person responding to you who's an expert within PayCircle in a few minutes. Coming up, we'll start at the settings and then work our way back up to do a payroll. I'll just give you a really high-level overview of these settings. So some nice, interesting ones are the auto-run features. So the first one in here is an auto-run payroll. And this is how you can set up your payroll so that if you're running a salaried company, everyone's salaried, you can turn that on. There's no changes to make every month, and it will run like clockwork. Another really good use of this is if your payroll person in the business is going on holiday, they've set everything up to run the day before, and then they can click auto run so that it all happens like clockwork. You can also auto send all of your payroll reports. And I'll send you your payroll reports in a moment, but you've got a list of standard reports. You also have customized reporting that can show in this as well. And you can see that you can select any number of reports, and you can pick the format that you want these reports to view in. And at the bottom, you can select your admins, or you can send this to an external recipient with a password protection. And that means that every time that you run your payroll at the end of the month, instead of going through and generating all of those reports and sending them to the right person manually, it will automatically do that, saving you some admin time. Auto submitting EPS, taking information from HMRC. The system is really intuitive and really smart. It will actually speak to HMRC on an evenly basis every night at midnight and communicate with the system any tax changes for your employees, any student loan updates for your employees, and it's going to apply those in real time as you're doing your payroll as well. We've got settings for things like employer status, so small employers, apprenticeships, work patterns I won't cover today because it's a little bit more complicated, and down at the bottom we've got our gross to net or net to gross settings depending on which way you prefer to work. Coming back out of my settings, I'm going to hop up to the higher level. So in here, one of the really nice things that I can do is I can set up admins, and once I've got different admins set up, I can put those admins into different roles. So we can give them different permissions, and then once I've got my admin set up with different permissions set up, I can also then use my workflows. And the really nice thing about this is to set in different stages of the payroll process a person that is responsible for it and a deadline for them to complete that. So once you've set up your payroll date, your processing date, you can work backwards from those items in order to give us a timeline to work to. This is going to create a really standardized way of working across your business that will make it really simple for one person to be interchangeable with another if something, the worst happens. That person that's responsible for it is off sick. They can work with somebody else within the process to make sure that payroll still happens. You've got all your journal reporting functions as well, so you can set up your pay elements with different journal codes. You can set your businesses to have different departments, branches, cost centres as well, and use all of that to feed into the reporting function. So if I look at the reporting function, PayCircle comes with 16 standardised reports set up and ready to go. So this is things like your comparison reports, your journal reports, year-to-date reports. It's all in there as standard. If you want to go in and set up customised reporting, within settings you can do that, come into journals and reports and create your own report templates. Again, this is one of the advanced functionalities that I'd love to show you within 20 minutes, but I'm just not going to be able to based upon time. Again, any of these things, if you prefer to have a specific demo looking at specific functionality, get in contact with the team and we can set up a demonstration specifically for you. PayCircle does come with brief HR functionality. This is not a replacement for a full HR system, but you can set up policies on sickness, parental leave, pensions, etc. So that is within system. And you can also do things like track holidays and sickness if that's applicable to your business as well, versus doing that in its own HR system. Our team members tab is everything to do with my team members. So I've got 10 team members set up within my business. I can add new team members. If you're doing this through an integration, through People HR, this will automatically import, so you won't have to do this. And you can make individual changes to different people based on team members. So, for example, if I came over to Abby and I need to set up a maternity pay schedule for her, within my HR tab, I've got my policies set up. I'm going to come on and add maternity pay, and all I have to do then is add a date, so I can do that in the future. With PayCircle being a cloud-based software, it does enable you to work from absolutely anywhere. So when you get information about an employee that will affect their pay now or in the future, you can come straight into the portal and you can add that information in now, rather than trying to either one, remember it, or two, keep a note of it somewhere that's not secure. Because this is all on the cloud and you can log in from anywhere, as soon as you get information, just come in and add that information in for the team. On the pensions front, you come into the pensions tab and we get a brief overview of the pensions, how many are in, how many are excluded, and the total pension contributions made so far. If you've got multiple pensions, they will all show listed here. And if I go into add a pension, I can just show you how simple this is. So, these 6 pension providers all have integrations. So this means that if you're with one of these 6 pension providers, you will not have to log into a portal and upload that information. So once it's calculated through the payroll, it is automatically added to these 6 pension providers without you needing to do anything. The manual providers are the normal way of doing it. So this is a PAPDIS report, which I'll show you when we come through the payroll, that you'll get the PAPDIS report. And that will be formatted for these providers, so you can just specifically upload that through to their portal in kind of a drag and drop or an upload functionality. And then finally, we'll come on to a payroll. So the first thing I'm going to do when I'm on my payroll, and if I've set up the workflow, this is going to be my first stage of the workflow as well, is to add any information that I've got. So where I've got workers that are hourly paid, for example, I need to upload how many hours they've worked. If I've got workers that have earned bonuses or commissions, I need to add them in as well as variable data. So there's a number of ways that I can do that. As I've already said, you can always click the cog information next to that person and you can add a change. So you can make a change specific to one person if that's necessary. A really good example of this is maternity. Paternity is never going to affect a whole team, hopefully, but that would be an individual change that you would make. The next way of doing this is to go to the add, and we have an import function. So once you have a bulk set of information to upload, you can create that into an Excel and convert that into a CSV file, and then you can upload information from that. Once you've set that up and you've got this as a template, auto mapping, and then filling in any blanks that you need to, and you can then save that mapping as well. So I can save my mapping as fixed uploads, and the next time that I use this template, even if it's got different amounts in for the next month, it will know all of the headings, it will know who I'm talking about in terms of my employees, and it will be able to upload that. Once you've done this, it's going to remember it, so you only have to do it once. I hit the import button and it's going to import all of those figures that I've done. The next way of doing that is similar, but it's going to be working within the portal rather than completing an external spreadsheet, and that is through my changes table. This is a really great piece of functionality. So what it allows you to do is come in and to add different amounts for different people and save those. So once I've done those, I can hit save, and it's going to give me a running total at the top of the screen. So when I come back to my payroll tab, I've now got a changes table with additions and deductions as total. I can then go back into that at any point in the month, so I can keep this as a running total. I can remove that one from there. I can put another item in for another person. I can go through and update those as well, and keep that running total. When I'm happy that I've made all of those changes through my changes table, I finally hit import changes. So if you're using this throughout the month to keep track of anything that you need to add in, so any of your allowances, deductions, salary sacrifice schemes, things like that, there's a column for it there. If there's a pay element, it will show in this table. Once you've done all of those throughout the month, come in, made changes, you hit import changes, and that's the point then when it applies those changes to your employees. So up until hitting that confirm button, none of those changes have been made. It can actually be amended as you go through. Really simple, keep running totals, for example. And we can see here then it started to apply those amounts to my employees. So in terms of doing updates, you can do them individually by person. You can do them as a bulk upload from a spreadsheet, and you can do them in the changes table so it all stays nice and safe within the portal. Once I'm happy that I've made all my changes, the next thing that I'm going to do is hit my calculate button. So this is just going to run my payroll calculations so that we know that we're getting the right amount for each person, and it's going to open up then all of my drafts and my reporting functionality. This is going to allow me to check through absolutely everything to make sure that I'm happy with it before I send this off to actually pay my employees. So all the reports that we got there are now generated at the bottom, and I can go into any of my reports to check them off. A really nice thing, again, you can do it all in system. You don't need to export it, although you can export as CSV, PDF or Excel spreadsheet. You can toggle this up to full screen, so you don't have to see anything else apart from your reports that you're looking at. And you can also pin columns from left to right, so you can pick different columns and you can compare information really, really easily. You can also filter this, so if I wanted to look for a specific person, I can update my filters to include a specific person's name. So if I just search for myself, I can update that report and I will only see the information about Francesca. When you're happy and you've checked all of those, another way that you can check your pay slips is by actually generating the pay slips in draft format. And you'll see that the same way with the reporting functionality, all watermarked with the big word draft across it, you know that it's not going to be finalised yet. So I can generate those pay slips summaries and I can view my pay slips as I want. If I've found anything that I've missed, I can go to undo calculation and I can start again, go back some, make some changes, make some amendments. And if I'm ready, I can just go straight to run payroll. And then when I'm happy, I've run my payroll. It's always going to give you these updates for your payroll, so no starters, no new leavers, and it's going to give you notifications as well saying that if somebody is below the national living or minimum wage, so that you can check on those items before you run your payroll. But when you're happy, you just hit the big pink button to run the payroll. This might take a few seconds, but it's going to do all the calculating, finalising the payroll, setting up the next period. If you've got the items turned on, it's going to auto-submit your EPS, things like that, off to HMRC as well. It's going to run all those reports that you've asked it for, format them in the correct way and send them to the people that you want them sending to if you've got your auto-reporting function on. And then it's going to pay your employees, produce the pay slips, add those into the PayCircle employee portal for them to view, and also send that report off as well. When it's been run, you get a nice big green button and a little confetti cannon. If you want to celebrate, you can click that multiple times, but you just get a nice little view of what you've done. Over this side in the payroll tab, and you can do this before running payroll as well, you can add your future changes. So if you know that somebody is going on maternity leave, or you know that somebody's getting a pay rise, or in the middle of November you've been notified of the Christmas bonuses that are coming through for December, you can add those into the system straight away. You can also go in and view your historic pay periods, so you can check anything that you've done before, and also any supplementary pay runs as well from historic pay periods. This has been a really quick overview of PayCircle. If you require any more information, please don't hesitate to reach out to the team, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible if you'd like a live demonstration or any more information. Thank you.
So let's jump straight into the questions. First one that I've got up. I'd love to see more about the custom reporting. We aren't able to do some basic reports at the moment. I'd absolutely love to show you that in a coffee break demo. It is quite advanced functionality showing the report builder. We could spend a whole sort of 20 to 30 minutes on doing that and getting into the really sort of nitty gritty of how that works. But if you want to go into that kind of stuff, more than happy to do that in a bespoke demonstration if you come through. Ways that you can do that, just whilst we've got it on screen, is easiest one to scan the link. But after the webinar, you'll get a thank you for attending email, which we're going to put a link into as well, if you prefer to contact us in a more sort of old-fashioned way. But hopefully that answers a question in enough detail about the custom reporting, and just knowing that we can go into that in the future if you'd like to. I'm going to jump over when is the managed payroll webinar. I'm going to leave that one for Sandra because she knows the schedule. And then go through to with the AI. So this, I'm assuming this is about the AI like support function. How to get through to a real person. So what happens with that is you go onto the chat because there are so many support videos for PayCircle. It can do so much. There's a lot of help articles. What the AI is going to do is going to help you to surface those articles so that you can go through them a lot more easy. It's going to find you the information that you need and just give you that information versus you looking for it. And then if it can't help, it's going to give you an answer. It's going to ask you, does that help? You click no, you go straight through to a real person on the end of our support chat, which their response times are 2 to 3 minutes for high priority items. I had to put a support ticket in through the AI chat last week, and I set it as low priority with me being inside the organisation, and they still came back to me within 3 minutes. So they're really good and really fast. And the answer was extremely helpful, completely spot on. On the permissions, how customizable are these? Is this to this person? Is this referencing the workflows and giving different admin rights to people? If so, then that is to do with I think there's something like 50 or 60 different permissions that you can set. They're all grouped into different roles to start off with, but you can go in and turn any one of those groupings on or off completely for that person. So say, for example, this person's a finance person, they don't need access to the HR side or vice versa. You can go on and turn off that entire grouping for the permissions. You can also go into that grouping and actually set the minutiae of each individual task can and can't do for each person as well. How do you perform a supplementary run? So within PayCircle, you've got the option to do supplementary runs. So this is when you might have run a payroll and you realise that you've missed somebody's bonus off, for example, you need to get that paid straight away. You can absolutely do that. You don't have to wait till the next paycheck comes through. You don't have to wait till next month for that employee to get paid that money. Because this is going to be based on more individual team members, instead of doing that as a bulk pay run, you would go into the Teams tab, find the team member that you're looking for, click the cog on the right-hand side of that team member, and there's going to be a supplementary run option to add in there, and then you go through the breakdown of what you want to add within that addition. And then it'll process that for you and ask you when do you want to pay it and things like that as you go through. It'll give you one of those really nice wizards that just walks you through exactly what to do if that's something that you're not used to doing with current functionality of something that you're using. Well, I will pass over to Sandra for when is the managed payroll webinar.
Thanks, Francesca. That was really good. I hope you all enjoyed that video. Just to answer that question about the payroll demo. So the next one's on Tuesday, March the 26th. And the title is Outsource Your Worries, Payroll Managed Services Unveiled with Francesca again. As Francesca mentioned, you'll shortly receive an email from us with a link to watch this video back on demand, also with a little link to this Continue the Conversation if you'd like to get in contact with anybody. If we've not answered any of your questions, we'll come back to you afterwards. But I think with that, we will thank everyone for coming, and I hope you enjoyed that session. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.